Hey guys, Evacso here. Today I've got professional difficulty realistic sliders for FC25. So I've got two slider sets, one for longer halves and one for shorter halves. So today I've just got sliders, so two versions of sliders, and I will have gameplay up on my second channel, Evacso Gaming. So please like and subscribe if you haven't for both channels, that would be very nice. Let's get into the longer half sliders. So I've been testing these sliders on for 10-minute halves. You can also use these all the way down to 7-minute halves. So 7, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and 10-minute halves work for these sliders. Now let's get into my camera settings. So I used a broadcast camera. That helps it be a little bit more realistic. Go custom camera settings. Go height at 0, zoom 0, fast focus on 5, and ball tracking speed always on 0. Now let's first get into the CPU sliders. So custom the AI behavior. Tackle aggression at 40. Just lowered that just because there's so many slide tackles happening. And if you lower it down by any more than 40, they don't tackle as much. So if you're still struggling to score goals with these sliders, this will be one of the good things to change. You can put this down to 35 if you're struggling to score a little bit. It's just easier to get through the midfield and maybe a through ball. So for the moment, I'll keep this at 40. Got build up speed at 35, just slow the game a little bit. Shot frequency at 55, just so there's more shots, especially outside the box. They don't really take a lot of shots from outside the box. Crossing frequency at 65. Now dribble frequency at 35. They do like to dribble a lot, and it is sometimes very hard to defend. So if you're still finding it hard to defend, you can put this down to 30, even down to 25, because they dribble a lot, but some players don't dribble as much. It depends on the player really, if they're a proper dribbler or not. And skill move frequency at 50. Now let's get into actual sliders. So I got sprint speed at 44 for user, sprint speed at 45 for CPU. So as you can see, sprint speed and acceleration, they've all been in favor of the CPU, because in professional difficulty, most people can outplay the teams by playing those through balls. I'm trying to eliminate those through balls, make it more of like a tiki-taka, like proper like realistic football instead of just through balls all the time. So trying to stop that happening. So acceleration on 47 for user and acceleration on 48 for CPU. Shot error at 62 for user. Again, if you're struggling to score goals, you can put this down to 60. And I've got the shot error at 58 for CPU. They're just terrible at shooting on professional difficulty. Like sometimes they can get real close to the keeper and then they just totally misfire. They just somehow miss the target from straight in front. Yeah, and then there's sometimes they can really connect well with the ball and it just goes top corner. So professional difficulty is quite hard to balance the shot error. Pass error at 51 for user and CPU. Shot speed on 50, both user and CPU. So I kept this at 50 just so the long shots can happen a little bit more. I'm hoping that long shots can be more of a thing in realistic sliders. Pass speed on 48 for user and CPU as well. Just trying to make it be able to pass it a lot quicker in the midfield. Injury frequency at 50 for user and CPU. Just you don't need to change this. There's enough injuries in the game as it is, and you got to be putting this injury severity down to 30 for user and CPU, because now, I mean, in the game there's cancer in career mode. You can be injured and there'll be like a cancer injury. But it's just crazy. It's too real now. So you got to be putting this down to 30, or you'll be out for a full season for, well, I mean, who knows what for. Goal capability at 49 for user CPU. Again, that's just for long shots, because they can save shots in the top corner, and I don't want that to be happening. But again, you got to balance that out for when the shots are in the box. So 49, both user and CPU. Got the marking at 65 for user. Now this is one thing you can put up a lot, because dribbling is so good, but it only depends on the players that are good dribblers. If you're playing someone with like 80 plus dribbling, even 85 plus dribbling, like they'll be killing it, dribbling through centre backs. So it is awful sometimes, and you can put this up to 2 or 3 even if you want to. And marking for CPU, got this at 64, and you can increase this by 1 or 2 or decrease this by 1 or 2. Run frequency on 65 for user, 70 for CPU. There's just not a lot of runs. They have made an update, and I have changed that a few things, because I did have this both on 75, but now with the update, I've lowered the users one to 65. Basically, I just don't want like all through balls happening. Like I was scoring a lot of goals with the striker just, you know, you're playing that through ball to the striker, striker scores all day, you know, one-on-one chances. So I'm just trying to lower that sort of chance from happening. Just create different chances happening, really. Again, for the CPUs, just increasing that, just giving it an advantage. Line height at 75 for user, line height at 70 for CPU. Line height's weird. I feel like they don't play on the same slider set. So like if you put this on the same thing, if they were both at 75, you would find the user one seems to still be backing off more than the CPUs. Anyway, that's just how I found it. You know, if you have them both at 75, you'll find your team's defenders will be in the box defending, while the CPU's one will be just outside the box defending. So yeah, I've got to always increase the user's one a little bit more. That's all. Line length 42 for user, line length of 45 for CPU, line width of 45 for both user and CPU, full back position on 70 for both user and CPU. I found now that they increase run frequency, I think the fullbacks make a little bit more runs too. Just a little bit, just so I don't need to put this up to like 80 anymore. Got this at 70 now. Power bar at 50. Again, that's just your preference. You can put this up to 55 if you want, if you're struggling. And first touch control error is on 60 for both user and CPU. So those are for the longer halves. Let's get in the short game sliders now. Alright, the short game sliders. I have been testing these sliders a lot in all these career modes. So as you can see, it's a different color. This is the Premier League. Been playing with these sliders a lot, a little bit too much than I usually would. Just been enjoying it a lot. So you can use it on 4-minute halves, 5-minute halves, 6-minute halves, and the 7-minute halves are for the longer halves. So 4 to 6-minute halves. So I've been testing these out mostly on 5 minutes. Difficulty level, obviously professional. Now I've got the same camera settings, so let's get into the CPU sliders. So as you can see, I've lowered the tackle aggression for this one, just because they seem more aggressive in short games. You would find that it actually is a little bit different. Like the game is just quicker, more aggressive, and shots just come out more. So that's why I've lowered the tackle aggression, build up speed, just increase that a little bit. Just try to increase the speed. And I've kept the same shot frequency, same first touch pass frequency, same crossing frequency. You need this on at least 65, or if a fullback goes down to the goal line, they're not going to cross it. And if a fullback goes down to the goal line and he's not crossing it, you know that it's just nothing's going to happen from that. They're just going to go backwards, end up probably going back to the centre backs back to the goalkeeper. It'd just be like one end of the field right to the other end of the field, just very pointless and stupid. Dribble frequency, I've kept this also on 35, and skill move frequency, you don't need to touch that. Keep that at 50. Now into the main sliders, so sprint speed on 44, sprint speed on 45 for CPU. So I've kept the same sprint speed and acceleration. So acceleration on 47 for user, 48 for CPU. Shot error, I've just made it one difference. I mean, it's really not needed. So I've lowered the shot error for user a lot, from 62 down to 57, but I've actually kept the same shot error for CPU. Like I said before, it's hard to balance it, and sometimes they're really good at shooting and sometimes not. And I think just liked it at 58. I didn't want to change it too much. Pass error at 50. Again, you guys know that passing is really bad at the moment, and they nerfed it for some reason. So the first time I'm actually keeping this on default. So both 50 for using CPU. Shot speed on 51 for using CPU. The reason I was actually liking these sliders is most because of shot speed and the goalkeeper ability in this, is that I was actually scoring long shots, and they were actually tight games. So I was getting to like a full first half without scoring a goal in professional difficulty, and then I'd score a mad long shot, and then eventually, you know, I would end up winning like 3-0, because I don't usually play on professional difficulty. Really more like a legendary difficulty player, but yeah, I was just loving it how I'm just scoring some mad long shots, which I haven't really done this year. So pass speed 49 for using CPU, injury frequency 50 for using CPU, severity on 30 for using CPU, goalkeeper ability. So this is why I was scoring long shots. I was keeping this at 47 goalkeeper ability. If you're still struggling to score goals, and sometimes the goalkeeper does make some really good saves, you can put this down to 45. I didn't see much of a difference from that. And if you're scoring a little bit too many goals, you can put this up to 49. Wouldn't put this up to 50 though, you just wouldn't be scoring in this short game of time. Marking at 61 for user. You can put this down a little bit only because I was versing good dribblers at the time. Like I was playing like Barcelona and Lamine Yamal was just dribbling through my whole team, so I had to put this down, well, up to 61. So I would only put it down to 60, 61, or have it at 62, whatever you want. And marking at 58 for CPU. Run frequency at 70 for using CPU. Line height at 75 for user. Line height at 70 for CPU. So I kept the same as the longer halves. Line length at 46 for user and CPU. Line width at 47 for using CPU. Full back positioning, just increases a little bit, just for the short games, so 75 for using CPU. Power bar at 50. First touch control error is on 55 for user, so just basically making it a little bit easier, but I did not want to make this any lower because then the dribbling would be a lot better. And I could not put this below 60. I think that's probably like max at the moment because dribbling, they said they were nerfing dribbling in the CPU, but they really didn't. Like, I feel like they're doing it even more. They just said that for some reason. Anyway, those are the two slider sets. I will be getting gameplay out in the next few days. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And once you test these sliders, please comment down. You know, I would like to see how you guys like with these sliders. Just make sure you tell me if you're playing with the longer halves or the short game sliders. And that is it. Thank you. I'll catch you guys later.